Veritas family. Thank you so much for joining us at Give and Take. I'm Sherry Davis, and today I have with me Dr. Penny Edmonds. Hey, Penny.
Hello, Sherry. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we are so glad that you could be with us again today on Give and Take. If you are watching live or in replay, be sure to type in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to know that. As you know, we ask all of our guests, what is your VBC origin story? How did you, Penny, become part of the Veritas family?
Um, well, John and I first taught at Pensacola Christian College for many years. That being said, I could not tell you the number right now because I just forgot in that moment. But it was a number of years. It was like from 1992 for me to I think 2008. Um,
Okay,
and so we taught there, absolutely loved it. And then the Lord moved us to Santa Maria, California, where we worked with Dr. Jim Shetler at his church there for 2 years. That was my first experience in many years to not be teaching college.
hmm.
And there I actually taught first grade, which may be a shock to any of my students who are on here. Um, and I will say, I mean, the Lord really used that to teach me about winning hearts early for
Sure,
Christ. It was a
good,
totally different experience for me. I became a big fan of flannel graph and
sure.
Bible stories, and I can truly say that became my favorite, even over language class, which was surprising to me. But I'm thankful for those 2 years.
Hey, real quick
And
before
then,
you go on, we've got Dave Anderson watching from Twin Cities, Minnesota,
oh,
and Delaney watching from here in Virginia. Thanks, guys, for popping
all
in.
right. Thanks, guys. And then we were there, and John was going to, at that time, try to get back in and finish, well, I say finish, begin and finish his doctoral degree.
Hmm.
So we moved from California to the Dallas, Texas area, thinking that he might go to Dallas Theological Seminary. And we were there for 5 years. He did not go to seminary then. The Lord had other plans.
Right.
And while we were there, I taught at a high school, 7th through 12th grade English, which was also another eye-opening experience for me.
Sure.
And I realized there I was very concerned with, I've never taught junior hires. I've never done high school English. And then I realized I'm just managing a lot of emotions
Sure.
and I'm fitting in content as I can.
Right.
So that
Right.
was also an experience for me. But we
Sure.
had a good time there we actually were in Flower Mound, Texas. And we were there for 5 years. And toward that last year, um, I had taught online while we were away from Pensacola Christian. I had taught at Maranatha Baptist University. I taught at Trinity out of Jacksonville, Florida. So we were both just really itching. We've been in church work, we've been in ministry, but we just really were itching for college again. And that's when the current president at that time of Virginia Baptist College, Daniel Stevens, visited our church.
Hmm.
And I was wearing the hat of lunch lady at that time.
Oh, so you got all kinds of experiences in your time
I
between higher
did.
ed.
I did because what happened was is John, when I became teacher, John became principal.
Got it.
And the pastor's policy, based upon some bad experiences in the past, is that spouses he prefers to not work under one another.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, there goes my job because
Right.
John's about to become my boss.
Uh-huh.
And so I talked to the pastor. I said, or I talked to John. I said, I really do want to be on campus. I love ministry. I,
Right.
you know, where am I allowed to be?
Right.
At lunchroom. So,
Hey, real
so,
quick, we got Leo watching from Romania, Tyler watching from North Carolina, and Jing from China. Thanks for joining, guys.
oh, excellent. So at that point, I will say I did enjoy the lunchroom. I got to interact with the students. I got to see my husband, who was not my overall boss at that moment.
Sure.
And it was a good time. It was a good service in that ministry that I'd never done before.
Sure.
And but that's when Daniel came. The next thing I know, John came upstairs and said, "Hey, Daniel wants to know if we're interested." I'm like, "Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes."
Uh-huh.
And so we visited. We went, that's when I knew you, but we went out to lunch with the team
Mhm.
that was here and we
Mhm.
just fell in love with it when we walked in the building.
Yes. I
We're like,
remember that lunch and I remember being glad that you guys were going to be a part. And then obviously the Lord had big things for you guys here. Lots of life changes as you guys were here. And we're so thrilled that you're part of it. So
yep, it's home.
very good. Well, Penny, today, obviously we ask our guests to bring a ministry matters, generally just what's on your heart. What do you have for our community today?
Well, the tip I have is actually brief, and then the resources that I want to share actually then flesh out that what is on my heart, that tip.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have experienced both as a student um, and a faculty member is that I was not always intentional about growing myself personally.
Mm,
And what I mean by that, and that is my tip for the students, whoever is joining, is be intentional about growing yourself so
mhm.
that you are a well-rounded individual. For example, I love grammar, writing, literature. I love education. No one has to push me to sit down with a book or a podcast. I'm all over that. But I don't want to be just that.
Sure.
And it's not because I define myself by that. It's because I love it. I cannot get enough of it. But if that's all I have at times felt like like a one-trick pony who
Sure.
has just these little categories.
Mhm.
And then I realized over the years, if I were not intentional, I didn't grow.
Mm,
I didn't challenge myself. I would say, I'm just too busy.
yeah.
Please, I'm done with school. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to do anything constructive until the semester starts again. And that was a mistake. It was a
Sure.
mistake. And so it has been many years now that I have purposed, and I don't even know where it came about outside of I just woke up with, girl, get it together and grow yourself and be intentional. So
Good.
I would literally at the end of the year, like in December, for years, I make myself a list of what areas interest me, what topics interest me, what authors interest me, and I'm going to learn more about them. I'm going to grow myself because I want to be a well-rounded individual who can have a conversation and not just have to have it be about the topics that I am just educated in or fielded in and just have
Right.
this little narrow purview.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's so helpful because we do get really we also get known for the things that we love, right? Because we love them. And because of that, we kind of stay in that field, stay in that lane. So it is super helpful and it has to be intentional because you're right. When it's out of our comfort zone or not something we really love, we don't
Mhm.
find ourselves in that field very often. So
No.
it's got to be intentional. We got Rebecca Hawk watching from Rayford, North Carolina. Pam Polanco from Dominican. Hey, Pam, thanks for joining. Um, Lisa Joyner watching from North Carolina as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for popping in.
Excellent. When we first came to Virginia Baptist College, I remember having one of my students see me at church, and he said, "Oh, I told someone that they should take your class because your favorite is literature." And I said, no, 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 it's all my favorite. I literally, and he said, "Well, I know you don't really care for the grammar." I said, "I love the grammar. Where did you get that?"
Huh.
And here's where he got it. He said, "Because I was in your lit class and I heard you talk about stories and authors, but I never heard you talk about grammar."
Oh,
And I said, "Well, in the context of that conversation, there wasn't a point to bring up grammar."
right.
And so I realized at that point, you can be known for certain things, and it can be based upon what people hear you talk about.
Sure.
And so, what I would like to do is kind of flesh out that tip of making yourself intentional in growing yourself. I'm just going to call my session "Check It Out."
Good.
I don't know. So you may like these resources, you may not. I personally love them. That's why I'm here sharing them. And these are ones that I have used to intentionally grow myself, and really the past couple of years. The first one, not to sound silly, is really my journal Bible.
Mm.
And I sent links so that hopefully someone can maybe drop these. I don't know if Dean Reel's doing that today or not.
Yes, we'll get them added either in the
Okay,
session or
excellent.
afterwards. Yep.
I mean, I've had my personal Bible for years, but I just realized, you know what? I need to grow myself. I need to be more intentional about sitting down just the way I would a piece of literature And I need to know, what does that word mean? What does that phrase mean? What is the context? What is the background? What is there in those verses that I've been missing for so many years? And then I realized I don't have a room in my Bible for that. So
Hmm.
I bought, and again, I got links to drop. I bought a journal Bible,
Hmm.
and I loved it. I
Yeah.
mean, it has been the most wonderful thing for me. And again, I've read my Bible every year,
Yes.
but I was not intentional in realizing I teach at a Bible college, but just how much am I in my own Bible while being at a Bible college?
Right. Right.
And not every class requires that. So, part of my challenge is, look, you're at a Bible college, but are you in your Bible?
Yeah.
What are you doing with it? I realized when I started going through my journal Bible and taking notes and looking up words and asking my personal Bible teacher who lives with me,
Sure.
what does that mean? I thought, you know what? The Bible's coming alive to me in a way it never did before.
Mm.
And part of that was paired with, which is not a read, but it's another thing that I would say, hey, check this out. It's a podcast
Yeah.
called The Bible Recap.
Okay. I have heard of that. Yeah.
It is, and I came across it, and the reason I started doing it is I thought, you know what? It's somewhere between 8 to 11 minutes of podcast. Perfect time, perfect. And what it does is you literally go through the Bible in one year.
Hmm.
And what I would do is I would read the Bible and make my own notes. And then I would turn on Tara Lee Cobble. I think she's out of Dallas, Texas. And I would listen to her and what she had to say in summary about those verses. And I can say, because John is forever knowing what I'm reading in my Bible, and there are very few times where he has said, I don't think so.
Right.
Very few,
Right.
very few. And most of the time, it just helps me to say, here's my rhythm. Read it, take my own notes, turn on the Bible recap, get
Hmm.
her summary, see if I've missed anything, see if I want to look at something. And then another check it out would be, she has a book called The God Shot.
Okay.
And what she means by that is, hey, as you are reading scripture, look for God. Where is your God shot? Where did you see God show up in the reading today?
Well, that's
So
good.
throughout that podcast, she's every day asking, what's your God shot? Where
Mm.
did you see God? So what she did is she put hers into book form, and it's 100 snapshots of God's character in scripture.
Oh,
And
wow.
I don't know about you guys or the ones listening, but I don't always have 30 to 45 minutes where I'm just going to sit and do a Bible study.
Right.
But I can do 15, 20. I can come back to it. I can look at the God shot.
Right.
And so those three resources for me, my journal Bible, my God shot book, and
Hmm.
my podcasts, have just become something I anticipate every day.
And do
I'm
you just as this is just a practical, do you happen to put the podcast on like where you're getting ready, or is it you're sitting and you're focusing, or how do you actually play that out in the day?
Well, I multitask it a little bit. I can't multitask my Bible reading, otherwise, I won't remember what I was doing.
Sure. Right.
But when I do my podcast, I intentionally come in my office. I sit in that chair right back there, and I put my breakfast smoothie on that cabinet right back, or that bookshelf.
Yes.
And while I listen to my podcast, I drink my breakfast, shut my door, no noise. So that's for me how
Got
I
it.
can stay engaged.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's good.
And so it's kind of my rhythm. John knows if the door's shut. Don't,
Right.
don't, because and I like to do that for me. I do it first thing in the morning because it just sets the tone for my entire day.
Right. And it also helps with decision fatigue, right? If it's just something that you don't have to decide to do every morning, it just becomes a part of your day, right? It's not
Yep.
like, oh, do I want to exercise? Do I want to read the Bible? It's just part of it. You don't make those decisions anymore. It just happens. You just do it.
It's on repeat
Right.
all the time, just part
Yeah.
of the routine.
Good. Those are
Um,
good resources.
Another check it out, and John bought me this book years ago. It's called The Joy of Fearing God by Jerry Bridges. And I came to love this book because so often when people talk about fearing God, it's in the negative.
Mm,
And so this book takes you through a journey of, look, come to realize that fearing God should bring you joy because
mm,
you're having the right perspective of God.
yeah.
And when you do that, you'll realize that how you serve God in private should be how you serve God and be joyful about it in public.
Mm,
They're not compartmentalized, they're one. And
Hmm.
so this book has been, I've read it several times. I've had this since I think around 2000. So
Okay.
I've toted this book to every state we've lived in. And I would highly recommend it. I think the book covers may be different now that it's updated. This is an
Okay.
old copy. So
Okay.
the links that I sent you, I'm sure there are cheaper versions and cheaper copies.
Sure.
I just grabbed a link and shot it out.
Yeah.
Um, Another book, and I'm going to pull up a screenshot on my phone. It's called Toxic Empathy
Hmm.
by Allie Beth Stuckey. I came across this because I listened to one of her podcasts,
Okay.
Relatable. And for those who may not know who she was, like me,
Hmm.
she is a Christian and she takes politics and news and trends and thoughts that come out in culture and she puts them into Christian perspective
Hmm.
and gives you, okay, how as a Christian can you respond to this? And what would be the biblical response? And that's what I liked about it is her worldview shapes everything.
Mm, sure.
Now, this book, to kind of put it in a quick summary, it's talking about how the progressive thought that we see all in our culture kind of tugs at your heartstrings, hence the word empathy.
Mm,
And then she goes through and talks about how that progressive thought makes Christians feel that their biblical worldview is not Christ-like, hence
mm,
toxic. And so she goes through, I mean, just it is a powerful book. And
mm,
I realized as I read it, this was our culture every single day. Every time I watch the news, look on social media, here's all these things saying about, look, we just need to love people. You're
mhm,
not Christian because you don't have empathy.
mm,
And so
mm.
she goes through in many different categories of how, look, it's not a lack of empathy if you have biblical standards and you have a biblical worldview. It's not toxic, but it's toxic if you let progressive thought determine that for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And it allows you to have the freedom to really settle into the principles of the Bible, biblical principles, but also still be loving, right?
Yes,
It doesn't, you can do both. You can be settled in the foundation, biblical principles,
absolutely.
without having to be embroiled or second guess or be ashamed of what we are about. Yeah, that's really good.
Absolutely. Like with Joy of Fearing God, you're not going to find something in there that you disagree with. It's not like a critical thinking book. But when you pick up Toxic Empathy, it does require that you turn your brain on in a different way
Got it.
and be willing to say, "Oh, I think I being transparent." There were a couple of times I thought, "Oh my word, I've kind of thought that myself."
Got it. Yeah.
And then I realized, wait a minute, I've got to think critically through the fact, like my students write an argumentative essay in EN 102. And
Hmm.
I am forever telling them, look, just because you disagree with an author or even someone in person doesn't mean you have to be ugly or
Hmm.
unkind. You have God's grace,
Mm.
you have God's compassion, and you articulate that rather than blast it. We're not writing a social media post.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and so that's what I think Allie Beth, her podcast is called Relatable, but she also has written other books. I just haven't read those, so I don't necessarily have a recommendation for her other books, but
Hmm.
I do for her. Um, she's really good. And then my other ways, I thought, okay, those are kind of my categories of Bible things. Okay,
Hmm.
so there was my one, grow yourself.
Right.
The other one, hands down, is going to end up in literature somewhere.
Hmm.
It's going to. So I don't know who out there may have, I'm sure people have heard of Charles Dickens.
Huh?
Elizabeth Gaskell is a contemporary of Charles Dickens.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he helped her and gave her ideas for how to introduce her books, close her books. She really didn't listen. She kind of had her own mind. But
Okay.
one of my favorite books that she has ever written is Wives and
Wives
Daughters.
and daughters. Yes.
Really?
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Now,
I
I
know.
know,
Okay. I will say, full disclosure, I haven't read the book. I watched the movie, but I did love the movie. So
Jerry,
I
look at the
know. I know.
No, I know. Well, I mean, obviously it's a little thicker, but I will just say for anyone who's ever picked it up, it's going to be hard to put down. It is so good. And I don't know for those out there, like for me as a lit teacher, I like to have my book And then if there is a reputable, well done film, I like to buy it. So for all of my books here, I have a whole cabinet of literary videos to go with them. And so I don't know, Sherry, have you seen the movie?
Of Wives and Daughters?
So you've seen this, but not the book.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Anne
So
Marie and I used to watch it all the time when we were roommates. And Lisa Joyner says she liked the movie too. And Anne Marie has read the book. So
it's
okay. All right, you're better.
okay. Then Anne-Marie wins the prize because you haven't read the book. Okay. Just kidding. Well, anyway, these paired together. I mean, honestly, now my husband loves these as much as I do.
Okay.
So, I know people out there may say my boyfriend, my husband, whatever, but honestly, these are just so good.
They're good.
They're good. And you learn about it's not even just about a good watch. It is a good read for the book, and you learn about culture.
Yes.
I frequently told my students if I had the money, I would travel to all these places where these authors wrote. I don't. But the way that I can is to sit down, open their books, and learn about
Yeah.
England.
Yeah.
If I pick
You've
up
got
Pearl,
you've got kind of a competition going. Lisa says, "Okay, I'm convinced I'll get the book," and Anne Marie says, "Yes, I never win." So okay, there's this whole side thing going on here.
there you go. It's fun when you realize that no matter what your major is, it doesn't matter. You're trying to grow yourself beyond the
Yes.
narrow purview of what your biggest interests are.
Yeah.
And so here, learn about. I picked up books, Dostoevsky. I learned about Russia. Have I traveled there? No, but I did through a book.
Mm.
I've learned about China. I've learned about all these places. I learned vocabulary. I learned culture.
Hmm.
I learned that they don't always wear modest clothing in the Victorian era. I mean,
Sure.
all those things.
Yeah.
Why? Because you intentionally grow yourself.
Hmm.
Another one I'm just going to throw out is also a Gaskell, and that is Cranford. There's
Okay.
Cranford, and then there's Return to Cranford, and they are both winner winners. Winner
Yes,
winner.
I again, I've watched the show or the series, yes, but I haven't read the book, but it was
Yep.
very good, very well
It's
done.
so good. And again, you're getting a contemporary of someone, okay, we're familiar with Charles Dickens, but
Mhm.
maybe just grow beyond that and say, I may not like literature. That's not the point. Do you
Mhm.
like a good read? Do
Yeah,
you like a good movie? You can grow yourself whether it's through a good read, a good watch, or a good listen.
it's good.
And that's fun. Now, to switch gears a little, another author, I should say, that I picked up was Wilkie Collins,
Okay.
which is kind of known as the father of the first modern detective novel.
Okay.
Um, so we think of Sherlock Holmes, we think of all these others, but you have Wilkie Collins, and I will say he is phenomenal. Also a contemporary of Charles Dickens.
Huh.
So all three of those lived at the same time, but sometimes Wilkie Collins gets a little forgotten. I'm going to recommend The Moonstone.
Okay.
Straight up warning you, it it's pretty intense.
Okay.
Okay, it's good. It is so good. And guess what? They have a movie to go with it
Okay. Now
because
that is one
there,
I have not seen, so I'm putting it on the
yeah,
list.
it is so good. Now I put in the links, the one that I recommend because I've not watched. I kind of I'm a purist in a
Yeah.
way.
Uh-huh.
And so I like what I like, and then I don't like the rest. And
Sure.
so The Moonstone is an excellent read.
Okay.
Again, going to learn culture, vocabulary, different ways. The Moonstone DVD is excellent as well. And then he also wrote, and I don't have my book with me, but he wrote Woman in White.
Seen it.
Little
Yeah.
creepy sometimes, little creepy. But at the same time, you're getting, for those who like genre studies or just want a good read, you don't even have to like literature. Just pick the book up or
Hmm.
watch the movie because Wilkie Collins was the foremost detective genre. And it all started there and then it has grown since that time.
So I
So
have seen Woman in White. I did not realize that that was the author, but yes, I have seen it. Very good.
very good. My last one for literature, and I would say when I was growing up, I thought it was only for kids, is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules
Okay.
Verne. Okay,
Okay.
it's not just for kids, not just for kids. And this may be shocking, but I picked up a new one by PBS, Around the World in 80 Days. I will say up front, it is absolutely not a purist presentation. Because when I was watching, I was like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Full
no,
disclosure, right?
no. Full disclosure. The other full disclosure is it is so good. John and I have binge watched this, which takes about 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
So if we get a rainy day, a cold
Yes.
day, a snowy day,
Yes.
this is it. And so, but
Okay.
just full disclosure, not a purist presentation, but one that will make you smile.
Oh,
Okay,
good, good,
it's
good.
fantastic.
Good to know.
Then the other category that I went into it with, look, I want to grow myself. I want to hit some interests that I've never hit before. Um, would be in health and wellness. I have always loved fitness. I've always loved studying nutrition. So about 2 years ago, I talked to John and I said, I want to do something with that.
Yeah.
So I ended up enrolling at the National Academy of Sports Medicine and worked through getting certified as a nutrition coach,
Okay.
which reminded me, be careful what you wish for, because at times there was a little bit more growth there than I wanted. Um, I realized I should have paid more attention in biology and
Sure.
chemistry class, but it was fun. So I
Good.
got the certification, and that was something that definitely stretched me, that
Okay.
grew me. It was fun. It was something I never would have done. But for the fact that my husband said, look, you said you wanted to do something in your field of interest,
Yeah.
go for it, do
Right.
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, all right, I
Yeah.
will. And so that has led me into playing around with a free resource that I would say check it out. For those women out there who may spend hours maybe prepping meals, looking at ways to put together healthy meal plans, I have been having a blast with Chat GPT since August.
Okay.
Sherry, it's like a lifesaver. And I don't know how you do yours, but I'll type in um, oh,
Okay.
smoothie with 30 grams of protein, real food only, no processed, give me options. Boom, all these options. I don't
Really
have to
cool.
think about it. And sometimes when I want to do something with leftovers and I can't think, I'll
Right.
throw it down and I'll say, give me 5 meal ideas for these ingredients, please.
That's cool.
And he gives me real food options. You can put in all the parameters you want for how many proteins, maybe you're looking at how many calories you want to spend. All of that stuff has become now, I've really grown myself in really learning how to best use with prompts Chat
Right.
GPT.
You
Um,
guys, okay, so Anne Marie says, I've read Moonstone. Now I need to read The Women in White. She said, I'm kind of nerding out on this give and take today. So
I'm
you've got
serious.
a couple of fans here.
Let me tell you, I should have brought up all my books and my videos because these are some of the ones that just really stretched me
Yeah,
and made me really enjoy literature in a way that wasn't because I was going to teach it, but
right.
because I just love it. It's
Just
good.
from learning. So you're
Yep.
using Chat GPT in a really innovative way. I'm sure others are doing that, but I hadn't thought to do that yet.
Oh yeah,
That's
sure.
really cool.
You can even tell it, give me a 7 day meal plan, breakfast, lunch, dinner, add in 2 snacks, make 30 grams of protein. I mean, it will just
Wow.
spit out the ideas. I have literally, John teases me, he's like, I think I know what you're doing. Because I'm playing with it to figure out the best prompt.
Yeah.
So I'll throw out 2 podcasts if people are interested in health and wellness. There
Hmm.
are so many out there, but I would say not all are appropriate,
Sure.
maybe sometimes. One is the Josh Axe show. He is a
Oh,
Christian.
I've heard of him. Yeah, I follow him
He's
on
really
social.
good. And
Mhm.
just for full disclosure, I'm a functional health girl over
Mhm.
an MD kind of girl.
Yeah,
So you're going to find people dealing with diet versus medicine, but that's
right,
me. That's what I like. The other
right.
one I just listened to this morning as I was getting some work done. It's called Dishing Up Nutrition
Okay.
out of Wayzata, Minnesota, and so good. And let me say from the outset, both of these are just good old fashioned. How do you eat real food and move your body? Nothing faddish or trending
Right.
or weird. It's just good old nutrition.
Yeah.
The last one, which stretched us, is because John and I both love essential oil soaps. So
Okay.
we decided enough of this paying somebody $5 and $7 for a bar that will be gone in a week.
Yeah.
Enough. So we bought a book called Pure Soap Making.
Oh, no way. Good
And
for
we went
you.
on, we found the ingredients, we bought them off Amazon, we put them downstairs a couple of weeks ago. We made our fresh things of what was it, lavender? No, it wasn't lavender, it was lemongrass, and we put a little clay in there to see how we liked it.
Y'all are
We've
so
done
fun. How cool is
It was
that? Good for
so
you.
fun. Before we did it with oats to get the exfoliating.
Sure.
My point is this, and it's the whole point of what I would share with whoever's on here today is just check it out.
Yeah.
You may not like any of the things that I mentioned.
Hmm.
Then find what you like.
Right.
Find what you like. You don't have to like what I like. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it all. But
Right.
find something to grow yourself beyond the classes you're taking
Yep.
in the daily routine you have so that
Mhm.
you're a well-rounded person with a well-rounded education. And plus you just find hobbies and find interests you may never know that you had before, but you got
Well,
to
and
be
sometimes you've read these studies that show that if your brain is active in another thing, you actually can help solve problems in like maybe your real job or something that's
yes.
been plaguing you. If you kind of can distract your brain enough, it'll work on that problem behind the scenes. So this is a really great reminder to jump into something you wouldn't ordinarily give your brain an opportunity to solve some of the things that you're
Yeah.
constantly thinking about.
I mean, not weird, but it's different for me is I often rely on John. Like if I'm trying to stretch myself and then I can't figure it out, I'll say, okay, John, I tried now here, help.
Right.
Which I still do, quite a bit. But one thing I've tried to make myself do is look, hop on YouTube, see if there's a video for it, and see if you can just work through it yourself.
Yeah, good.
And so I'll pull up the YouTube video, push pause, pull it up again, push pause. And you
Hmm.
know what? This year alone, I have done more independently because I intentionally said, I'm going to learn to do this myself.
Good for
I want my
you.
own skill base. Now, John would tell you that many of the things I've done are wrought with mistakes. And so, and I'm good with
Thanks,
that.
John. No, just kidding.
I was spray painting something the other day and he came out to look at it. And I said, let me just say up front, I know there are
Right,
errors in here and I am so good with that. So don't
right,
mention those
right.
because I'm
That's
not a
right.
pro. It's my lamp and I don't care.
That's right. And I've done it. I'm proud of the work. I did it on my own.
I'm proud of all the mistakes too.
That's right.
So it's just, I guess to sum it up, it'd be look, be intentional about growing yourself. We have so much educational, fun material at our fingertips.
Yes.
Don't sit on it. Don't sleep on that. Just enjoy it and enjoy learning and growing with the God-given abilities. Who knows what God will do potentially with the information you do find. Um,
I'm going to flip the script a little bit based on what you presented here today. Let's talk to a student or a potential student who's maybe needing to use higher education as the opportunity to be stretched, right? Maybe they're not a student yet, but maybe it's on the horizon. Maybe the Lord is tugging at their heart a little bit. Talk to a student who may be on the fence.
about getting into higher ed.
Yeah, getting into higher ed to let the Lord work, to be stretched. What can Veritas bring to their table?
Well, there have been students who have asked me that very thing is why would I do what you're recommending when I don't need it?
Hmm.
There's no need whatsoever. Um, and often, even first of all, none of us know exactly what God's going to do with our skill set or
Right.
education. So even when we come to college and say, I will never use that, we cannot say that.
Yeah.
We can absolutely not say that. But the other thing, I mean, even just in higher education, you learn to articulate, whether it's through your written work,
Right.
through your research that you do, learning how to share and persuade. Um, you learn how to interact with different instructors and different challenges and different experiences, different assignments. You get to dialogue with college students who are of like mind, and you get to have that personal connection and hear other ideas. It's not uncommon when I get freshmen that they're not open to new ideas.
Mm.
They're not open to dialogue, which
Hmm.
is interesting because they have the most to learn because they haven't been around as long.
Sure.
Um, but just learning to hear other ideas and learning how to respond to those. And
Hmm.
there's personal growth in being challenged. Um, I just had a student turn in a master's thesis and he said, wow, this has been quite the experience and the challenge. I said, good,
Yeah.
because it is supposed to be a challenge. Challenge is good.
Right.
Challenge is learning to do better than you are today.
Right.
And who knows how the Lord will use it. But if he never uses your degree,
Yeah.
that's fine because you have grown as an individual in a number of ways.
Right. The journey is always learning as well. So whatever whether you get the credential or what the credential means at the end, the journey has been helpful.
Absolutely.
Um, that is oh man, I think we could make this an hour-long session. I think I
I
could go
know.
on and on and on
I
in this
know.
realm. So, Anne Marie says studies show that breaks should be taken every 60 to 90 minutes to help with long-term focus. Let's see, it says see more here. Developing the brain in multitasking worlds. Yeah, I
Mhm.
I think working memory and attention degrade over time without rest intervals. And I find myself in that space because, especially working from home, there's not a ton of distractions. You can be dialed in for
Yes,
who even knows how
yes,
long. You
yes.
really do have to kind of force yourself to pull away, think about something else, change the pattern, that kind of
Yep.
thing, or else it really does degrade. And I know that I mean, I'm in this spot right now. My brain is degrading fast.
And that is that for those who may have an Apple Watch or a Garmin watch, the built-in thing where it reminds you once every so often to get up and walk around is a
Yes.
gem because you do get dialed in, but then my watch will buzz and I'm like, oh my word, I got to get up.
Yeah, I need it. I don't have one, but I do. I'll sit here and I'll think, when is the last time I've stood up? I probably need to get going, get moving around. So, oh my goodness, Penny, this has been so fun. I'm so thankful that you were able to take some time and share those tips and hints with us today. Super great stuff in there. If you're watching this today and you have any questions, we're going to post most of those links. Anne Marie's already put a lot of those links in there. We'll get those posted for you. Take the challenge, check it out. She says, learn something new, create new neural pathways, dive into something you wouldn't ordinarily and see how the Lord uses that. If you're watching today and you need to be a part of the Veritas family, either as a undergrad or graduate or doctoral student, reach out to us. We count it a great privilege to be a part of your educational journey. And maybe education is part of your new journey. Maybe it's something that you need to add to your plate because you have goals or the Lord's calling you to a particular ministry. We would love to be a part of that with you. Be sure to message us. Penny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Yes, we will have you another time for sure. And thank you to those of you who are watching. We will see you next spring. Actually, this is our last one for the fall term, so we will catch you guys in January. Bye.